All right, good morning, everyone. We have Daniel and Sharif on the podcast today. And welcome, Dan. Welcome, Sharif. And we're going to talk about how the problem is with most agents is that they're not setting habits in place versus how commitments really transition into the productivity that they're supposed to be doing on a daily basis. So, welcome, Sharif, again. Welcome, Daniel. We just wanted to introduce Daniel really quick. Daniel, you want to just tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I've been a realtor for about 3 years now, a little bit over 3 years, and I joined your team, the Stunning New Jersey Homes team, in the past, I'm almost going to be a year now, and well, my career has changed completely from when I was a solo agent. Yeah,
So Dan, that's interesting. Tell us about you've been in real estate for about 3 years now, and tell me about your first 2 years. That's why I want to tackle that first and see what changed.
absolutely. So my first year, I started as a solo agent. I joined the team. I'm not gonna mention any names. Well, not a names, a brokerage, and it was very hard, because it was my first time doing it. I quit my full time job. I went full force because everybody that I would speak to, they'll tell me you can't do it. You can't be successful being a part timer, and that's what I did. I only closed one deal. I closed on one house. I did some rentals, but not enough to support my lifestyle. So my second year, I had to go back to a full time job to be able to afford my bills, and I saved up some money and I came back. I found Peter and I asked him how he could help me become a better agent. And he broke down what I needed to do and what he provided to help me be successful.
Awesome. So coming to it, similar to me. I guess in your first year, you did one transaction. Did you? I did a rental, so it might have been worse than yours. But so after that first year, you had left your job, you went back to your job, so your dual career again, and then you still had that willingness and wanting to actually succeed in real estate. So that put you out to find someone that provided support and mentorship. I would assume, correct?
Exactly.
Cool. So, what does your daily habits look like now? I mean, you're killing it, man.
I appreciate that. As all thanks to Peter. But it's funny. Before I would complain about working a 9 to 5, and whenever they're asked to work some additional OT, I would complain and this and that. And I said, no, I want to work for myself. And here I am working 50 hours, 60 hours a week, 8 days a week.
It's different. It's different though when it's for yourself, though, right there.
Absolutely. The funny thing, it doesn't feel like work. You come in, I come in at, I try to be here by 8. Sometimes I here at 8:15, 8:30, and I just start making calls. And I'm here basically every day. I mean, today's Sunday. I'm in the office right now. And whenever I don't have anything to do, I get nervous because that means I don't have enough work. And I come back and I try to fill up my pipeline.
That's
Yeah.
great.
I mean, one thing I'll do say about Dan is that he is definitely, I would say, one of the hungriest people I know as far as he wants to make sure that this becomes something that's successful for him. He's not treating it like a hobby, where I see a lot of agents that do that, where like, hey, we're just gonna do one or two deals here, or they have that inconsistency where they go in all in for like a couple of weeks, and then they're just like not they're just missing an action for like the next couple of weeks. But he's one of the most consistent agents that I know, and he's here. Like, if he doesn't have appointments, he's in the office. He comes in at 8 and he leaves at like whenever he gets an appointment, sometimes past me out, sometimes like 7 8 p.m. So, and I feel like that's what a lot of people are missing, where they have the wrong expectations all over. Like, from like Dane said, it's, go 9 to 5. They feel like, hey, I'm going to be here in the office from at 9, I'm going to leave at 5, and that's it. All my work is done. So I remember we had a conversation a while ago when we first started. Like, you came in and you were like, okay, I'm here. We talked about, hey, you're prospecting 3 to 4 hours, and I was like, you were about to leave. I'm like, hey, where are you going? I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was it.
Yeah, yeah, that was it. And it was like, you could go do whatever you want. I'm like, do you have any appointments? He was like, no. I'm like, well, you gotta make sure that you're here till you set at least one or two appointments. And he pretty much took that to heart, and he's just been doing that since then. And I think that has to do a lot with his success so far.
That's awesome. Dan, so tell me, so you went from one transaction. What does the past month look like for you with transactions and production wise?
So this past month, I signed four new listings.
You're signing more in a month than most people do in a year. That's good, man. Great job.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and the funny thing is, a lot of it is just my follow up as well. I think two of those, one of the guy lives in California, and the funny thing about that transaction, I met with him in November. No, I'm lying, in December, and he didn't want to sign. He wasn't ready, and I've been, keeping in touch with him ever since. And every month he'll tell me, "Oh, I'm not ready." Now his situation was a little bit more complicated because he's going through something else. I guess one of our campaigns sent him, what's the home value of your home, or do you want to know your home value? And he clicked it. And I guess after he filled out the information, he saw my name. And I called him maybe 2 days right after, unknowingly. And he's like, "Dan, you don't even got to tell me." He's like, "You got me." And I was confused. I was like, why is she telling me I got him? So he's like, "I filled out this campaign, and then I saw your name." And I was like, "Damn, Daniel got me." He's like, "All right, I got it. I'm ready. I'm ready." He's like, "Send me the paperwork. I'm ready to sign. Let's keep it moving. Let's get it started." And I just started cracking up.
So you just signed that 5 months later after meeting with the guy. And if I'm like understanding it correctly, first of all, he was going through something himself. So you had to have some compassion with that and understand it. It's not just about the sale, it's about what people are going through too, right? You got to be sensitive to that factor. So it could take 5 months. But with that being said, it sounds like there were systems that Peter provides on the back end as well that kind of kept them, retargeted, right? Kept them within the system, kept them within your database, kept you top of mind. Is that not correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. So what's your favorite thing that you have right now from the team that has helped you the most?
Um, I mean, Peter, there's no secret to that. I bother him 30 times from the moment I walk in to 12. Sometimes I gotta ask him, "Am I bothering you too much?" But I mean, he's a big portion of the success.
I can tell you it's probably not a bother speaking for Peter. He's sick like I am. He enjoys it.
If I'm not being bothered, I feel like they're not working, right? Or like they're not doing what they're supposed to do. That's what I'm here for at the end of the day. And I tell everybody on the team, it's a partnership. Like we gotta understand we're in this together, and I'm committed to make sure that you're succeeding, and I care a lot about their success as well. So I want to make sure that if they have a question, they're not afraid to ask or shy to ask at all. And I will say too, like Dan is one of the biggest things that I do see Dan do well on a daily basis that mostly every other agent doesn't do that well is his follow up system. Like every lead that he's assigned to, he has a task set up to follow up with him, and if they don't answer, he pushes that task back. Like I don't think I've seen any lead that's assigned to him without a task or a call or follow up. Can you talk a little bit about that, Dan?
Yeah. So yeah, I set tasks. My first initial contact, I try to call them 2 3 times until I get like that initial contact the first day. If I don't get a response, then I spread it out 3 days. If I still don't get a response, I'll spread it out to once a week. And if I still don't get a response within that month, I'll probably spread it out to just once a month. And then I'm consistently trying to get in contact with them, whether it's sending an email, a text, and obviously the phone call.
Nice. So basically, it's not about the lead flow, it's about the follow up consistency, correct?
For sure, yeah. Yeah, I want to say maybe 60% of my listings aren't signed the first day. I just keep following up with them and I get it signed eventually.
It's awesome. That's awesome.
I know he met with somebody this last week, and the guy wouldn't answer his phone as well. And I want you to tell everyone how you were able to get in front of him, even though he was being a little bit of trying to keep it PG-13 here, but like I would say, yeah, it was rude, kind of over text.
So we're talking about the one in Saddlebrook. Yeah. So the lead came in and I try to call them, but I also send a text message whenever they don't respond. Just say, "Hey, my name is Daniel. I'm contacting you for X address. When is the best time to reach you?" So he said, I don't want to have a phone conversation, but we could text. So I haven't, it's hard to close somebody through text. So I told him, okay, no, I completely understand. No, I would love to go or go over everything with you. I would prefer to just have a 2-minute conversation. And he was like, no, I promise I'll answer everything on the phone. And I told Peter, I was like, hey, look, this is what's happening. He was like, send them a video. Man, this is my first video, by the way. So whatever needs to get done, I'm gonna at least try it, and if it works, it works. So I sent him a video, and he texted me the next day. He sent me a really long message, and then at the end, he's like, "Please don't respond with a video, or no video, no video needed." So I was like, okay, well, if he's gonna be like this, I just went for the close. Okay, great. I mean, when I want to get you top dollar, so are you available today or tomorrow? And he's like, I'm ready today. So I booked the appointment. I went to him. Yeah, that's one of the listings that I have.
Nice. The video text works for you indirectly.
Indirectly.
It still got it still promoted a response back. So, and a long-winded one that actually motivated him to meet with you. So I think that's a working response right there. I think that's a good tactic to stick with.
1 for 1.
1 for 1. He's like, I'm retiring video text. I'm going out like Jordan. But seriously though, that's great. I mean, but it all comes down to, the follow-up, the consistency, but also the systems. So can you tell me a little bit about the CRM that you're using and how that's different from what you were used to in the past?
Well, I didn't use a CRM in the past. I just had everything on my phone, and it was very old school. So I would have like a notebook, and whatever leads would come in through Zillow, I would write it down. But I didn't understand the follow up system either. I would just try to book an appointment to see them, and they wouldn't answer. Then I probably just would never contact them again. So the CRM that we use is FUB, and I mean I like it. Like it's a task. It reminds me of when to call them again. It's very user friendly, and yeah, not sponsored by them, by the way.
Might as well be, right? No affiliation with Follow Up
No
Bar. No affiliation at
affiliation.
all. We don't even get paid for it. We're just promoting it. But the fact of the matter is the systems, the smart list, the ability to add a task, the ability to add a note, the consistency of being able to access it from your phone and also your computer, I'm sure all helps with that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, and one of the things too that I think Dan likes a lot too, or anybody that has some competitive nature in it, is that the ability to see everybody's productivity and number of calls, appointments. People that are competitive have the tendency to want to be on top of the leaderboard. So it kind of gives them that edge to like, oh, I better, step up my game if they're falling behind a little bit too. So I think that's a great way to it. And as far as the integration part, it helps connect all the systems because there's not one system that will solve everybody's problems. There's, like Dan mentioned, a home evaluation tool that nurtures clients, campaigns that get sent out, and everything just makes it easier to see and gives us a reason to follow up with the leads, just like what happened there.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. That's awesome.
One of the things too that I do see like Dan that does really well on too. He has like, so obviously we have a lot of new agents on the team, and he takes a lot of time out of his day as well to help them without anyone asking, and then I think that gives them the ability to learn faster than a lot of agents do, because I feel like if you're learning something and you're able to teach it to somebody else, it also helps the person that's teaching it learn in a better way, and it makes them a better person. And on top of that, I think like it makes it makes you feel good that you're seeing somebody else succeed. And I wanted you to touch a little bit on that too, Dan. It's like how has that been helpful for you, and what caused you to do it out of just willingness to do it?
That's a good question. I believe that I do it because I want to see people around me succeed. And I believe that if I'm around successful people, it just makes me a stronger person as well. I like competition. I love it. I always want to be number one. But just because I want to be number one doesn't mean that I want to be number one just because the team is soft or not as performing it like me. I want to have the competition there because if if I'm number one closing only 5 deals a year, I mean that doesn't make me any better. Just number one. But if everybody's closing 50, 60 deals, a year now, I got to make sure I got to be at 60, 70, or 80, 100. And that's why I love to see people around me succeed. It also motivates me.
You like that camaraderie of a team to push you then. What does your calls look like before you join the team, and how many calls are you doing average per day now?
So I wasn't making calls before I joined the team. I was just answering. The the brokerage just had uh, Zillow leads, and I believe there was another system. I think it was I just don't remember right now. But uh, when I first joined the team, I was making like 150 calls. I didn't have no leads. Now they kind of dropped to 50 to 60, but I'm trying to pick it back up to 100, just to double with what I'm doing now.
That's good. So you know your numbers, you know what you do within a certain call range, and you know you have to up that calls in order to up your production. That's what I'm hearing, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. That's good. So how do you stack up against everyone else now?
I have some good competition right now, but I'm there. I'm there.
You're in on a Sunday. I'm sure you're making calls. So putting in the work, bro. I love it.
No, he's definitely like neck to neck with I would say a couple of people on the team, or maybe another person. Really, not a couple of people, but it's I'm just so happy of like how far he's become in just such a short amount of time. It's just that's the thing too that I tell a lot of people too, is like most people are just underestimate what they can do in such a year. Like, he's been on a team for about a year now. His anniversary is coming up in next week actually. And just I wanted to ask you actually, like, did you think that you were going to be able to achieve what you've achieved in the last 12 months when you first joined, or like what were you thinking?
So I think everybody's goal when they become a realtor is make six figures. I think you ask anybody when they first join the team or become a realtor, what's your goal the first year? It's, I want to make six figures, which is a very common number. What I expected to be this amazing top agent for my first year, but I'm definitely heading towards that way. And I know my year two is going to be a completely different animal. But my first year, I am happy with what I've done so far, and I definitely love how I'm progressing since when I first started.
Yeah, I
So what have
mean,
you done so far? How much have you done so far?
Closings?
Yeah, closings, listings, well, I want to see the change from doing nothing and where it's at right now.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not too sure with closings. I probably have seven, six, I
sounds
believe.
about right.
I've had a lot of listings, a lot of signed listings. Some just didn't work out. Maybe it was something that prevented me from actually selling the house, which, just with like anything, there's always going to be ups and downs. So I do take that into consideration, which is why I want to double my production to
Nice. So
not really
your
concentrate on
commitment
those.
now is to do more than 12 transactions in the year, correct?
Yeah, my goal this year, not knowing with what I've learned so far, I definitely, it was my same goal last year. I wanted to be at 40, 50, but I want to be at 40, 50 transactions for 2022, 2026.
Nice. And what is your plan for that?
Definitely got to make more calls. That's going to be number one, and continue doing my follow up, and just be more aggressive.
And mastering the systems. That's what it should
Mastering the
be.
system.
I mean, it's all about the systems that you're using. People think that they just keep adding different tools and more lead flow, and that's going to increase their business. But really, what it comes down to is just mastering what you have right now. We all use Follow Up Boss, but really, a good CRM is just a CRM that you use completely, right? So that's what it is. It's about factoring how many tools you have within that CRM and try to master every single one. Because I'm going to tell you, people they lose opportunities all the time within their system. Just people that you've talked to, people that you've interacted with, but you have to increase the amount of people you interact with and make it more efficient. That's really the goal I think every real estate agent should have, because that's truly what makes you a more productive agent. Right, Peter?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we were just talking about that because we had a bunch of one-on-ones with the team. And we typically do that once a month at least. And one of the common issues that a lot of agents deal with, and especially the more productive ones, is that managing their time, right? Like having that schedule to be able to follow up follow up system. A lot of times when things just get, busy, we focus on the clients that we have now and forget to keep adding people to our pipeline, or we delay the follow up till the next day, the next day. And I feel like this is like one of the things that will help get, people like Dan to the 30, 40, 50 deal mark is, staying consistent with their schedule, blocking that time to make sure that, remember what got you to where you're at now. What you did that because you were able to consistently call every single day from whatever 8 to 12. But then once things get busy, a lot of people just end up dropping that part that got them there and just continue to follow up with whatever that they have, the current listings that are on the market, which is not going to add anything to the pipeline down the road, right? Then do you want to touch on that a little bit too?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe February had a busy month, and my calls dropped dramatically because I was squeezing people in my mornings. I just wanted to get as many people as possible, and that from what my experience from that was, I believe last I saw what happened from as far as my calls, because you're producing a pipeline for maybe 3 months ahead. And last month I got to see that, from my failure of making the calls and protecting my mornings, I didn't produce what I wanted to the previous month. So, like Peter said, time management is something that's very important, and that's definitely something that I want to protect. I want to protect my mornings. You know, Obviously, if a client is only available in the morning, I'll make the exception, but I really, really would try to push them at least to 12 or 12:30 or later, like maybe 11 o'clock, the earliest, but just so I could make my calls in the morning.
That's great. So you definitely have to protect that. So besides the morning hours, I'm going to guess it's 8 to 12 is what you'd use for prospecting time, right?
And
Is there any
follow up,
other
yeah.
protection of hours that you have in a day?
So 8 to 12, I'm typically doing my new lead generation, and I'd also do my follow up. And then if I have appointments throughout the day, then I'm out on appointments the entire day. But if, let's say, I only have one appointment and I come back at 3, then I'm typically back in the office from 3 to 6:30, whatever time, so I could add more appointments into my week.
Gotcha. So typically speaking, do you have anything else blocked besides that time though?
No.
Got it. I think you probably want to block some type of relaxation or family time. I think that's an important factor. I mean, Peter blocks a date night. What is it? Once a month, Peter? like,
Yeah. No,
like it's
yeah,
not on the schedule. It doesn't exist. That's really how it works.
no,
So I
yeah,
think
I had to do that just recently actually because it was getting a little bit unhealthy at home, so we had to make it work, and it's just like something like a lot of people um, struggle with, and when people like us, especially like me, you, Sharif, and we're just workaholics, right? Like we will just keep working until we get the work done or whatever it is. But sometimes that ends up having a con, right? When the con is just something's going to have to suffer, which is typically that, like Sharif was saying, is the family time. And if it's not blocked, then that's going to take a turn, right? So, once for people that are in a relationship or they have families and kids and like that, that's super important to make sure that you're blocking that time just to make sure that you have, and I wouldn't say it's a balance because it's going to be very hard to balance it 50-50 exactly. But there's, like I tell people a lot of times, it's just like seasons in life where like sometimes like you're going to be putting 80% into work and 20% into some other areas that you want to just make sure that you're keeping it from completely like going to zero, right? Like you just got to maintain it at least, not, you don't have to make sure that you're improving it, but at least maintaining it. And that just could be just for a season of life, and then eventually once you achieve what you want to achieve, you can maintain that and then maintain other areas too, or maybe increase it. Yeah,
for
so
sure.
yeah, I mean, Daniel, any like last comments or advice for maybe new agents that are starting out or somebody that's struggling in today's market? Like, what would you advise them to do?
You got to put your head down. You got to make the calls. And don't get distracted. Yes, you're gonna get yelled at. Yes, you're gonna have people hang up on you, and it's all part of the business. If they hang up on you and they curse you out, it's one step closer to moving to somebody else. It has to get done. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. If you want to be successful, you got to put in the work.
That's good words. Great words.
Yeah. Well, thank you then for jumping on our podcast today, and of course, thank you, Sharif. And guys, if you like this content, please like, subscribe and share with other people. Feel free to also join our Facebook group. We're going to be putting the link below. And feel free to give us a follow on social media. You can find any of us on social media and also online. And yeah, have a great day and thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great day.